Good morning, this is Diana Wong with pact TV. Today is June 11th, 2009, and this is Off the Cuff. In light of the continued efforts made by leading nations to move away from the dollar as a reserve currency, a move that Lyndon LaRouche has warned as an act of economic death for the world economy, more discussion of suicide took place yesterday. Brazilian Finance Minister Guido Mantega announced yesterday that Brazil intends to buy $10 billion worth of special drawing rights IMF bonds, as long as the interest rate is adequate. Mantega claims that this is not a move to weaken the dollar, but this has been promoted by Bloomberg Wire Service as part of the move by the Brazil, Russia, India, China group, BRIC, against the dollar, linking it to a Russian decision to buy a similar amount of IMF bonds. Also, on the same day, the first deputy chairman of Russia's central bank, Alexei Ulyukayev, made a statement that Russia will cut its share of U.S. treasuries because a window of opportunity for working with other instruments is opening. When briefed on these statements, leading economist Lyndon LaRouche declared them very foolish moves. They will do nothing but damage, like taking a suicide pill. In fact, LaRouche added, breaking from the dollar would be clinically insane, the most stupid thing that can be done. Such a proposal can only come from people who lack the courage or the intelligence to accept my proposals for global economic reform, because such a break from the dollar will lead to the world disintegration. In completely related news, as the economic collapse worsens, the genocidal faction oriented around the British monarchy is accelerating their drive to impose green fascism. Over the past week, there have been two major conferences promoting dictatorship and genocide in the name of climate change. A June 5th London conference featured Tony Blair, who called for what amounts to a global dictatorship to force a 90% cut in greenhouse emissions. While at a second conference in Essen, Germany, yesterday was the conclusion of a three-day conference by the same grouping. LaRouche representatives who were there intervening at the conference ensured that everyone there knew the true aim of these lies on climate change and provoked the panelists into admitting that the policy for population reduction. We will feature a more in-depth report on this event, including a report from on the ground. But indicative of the event was the title of the fourth session. We quote, "Can free democratic societies cope with the effects of grave changes in global climate? Or might authoritarian regimes be better placed to enforce the necessary measures?" Now moving to the front lines of the United States, we have two developments in the healthcare fight. First, today President Barack Obama, as an effort to promote his Nazi healthcare reform, will be hosting a town hall meeting in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with the understanding that Green Bay has held the disgusting title of being the leader of minimal healthcare spending for end-of-life years. Secondly, the House Education and Labor Committee heard testimony yesterday on single-payer healthcare, referring to the concept of John Conyers' healthcare bill, House Resolution 676, which would create a nonprofit, publicly financed, privately delivered healthcare system, ensuring all Americans have access to healthcare. Conyers, along with a number of experts on the healthcare system, gave testimony, which included the need to cut the massive overhead of the HMOs and stop the rationing of healthcare. While Lyndon LaRouche has endorsed this approach, he is emphatic that the immediate focus has to be the halt the Nazi austerity program of the Obama administration. Unless we call a Nazi and halt the useless eaters program of the Obama administration, we won't be able to stop the crisis. LaRouche PAC has released a new pamphlet to defeat this Nazi healthcare drive, with the printing in the hundreds of thousands. This will be distributed nationwide by LaRouche PAC field organizers leading the fight within the population to defeat the Obama program. The pamphlet will be available on the healthcare page of LaRouchePAC.com. It includes the full expose of Nazi roots of Obama's reform by LaRouche and his associates, and issues the call to end the deadly HMO system. In closing, Lyndon LaRouche has announced a live international webcast on June 27th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, where he will provide the necessary marching orders and continue his open dialogue with patriotic forces for the implementation of the new just economic system, which is the only solution to this crisis. Both these require financial support, so contribute to LaRouche PAC and stay tuned for more. Again, today is June 11th, 2009. This is Diana Wong signing off.